Have you had enough struggle and frustration in your life? Are you tired of having no money and no energy and lack of vitality? Do you believe that other things are the cause of your pain and your anguish? Would you rather be saying that you're living a life that you love and you adore, that your relationships are flourishing, your friendships are friendly, parenting is fun and inspirational? Would you like to be saying that you're having better sex than you've ever had before? I bet you I got a yes on the sex. Hi, I'm Jules O'Neill, and I'm the creator of Women's Wisdom. And I'm here to share with you that not only have I created what I just mentioned, but I've also inspired and helped other women to create the same with the tools, concepts and techniques that the Women's Wisdom System offers people. 20 years ago, I realised I was struggling with hormonal ups and downs. I was an emotional nutter, I used to call myself. I was full of anxieties, depressions, jealousies, angst, stresses, dramas were a natural thing of my day-to-day life. And I knew there had to be a better way to handle them than the escaping I used to use with drinking or smoking or any drug I used to take at the time to vague it all out. I began to read self-help books and learn some techniques and started to put my outside life back together. Deep inside I knew it still wasn't that right. And it wasn't until I started to have a family, I left a career that I really loved in the name of family, because isn't that what society says is the be-all and end-all? Family is the ultimate happiness for satisfaction. Have a great husband, have a great house, have a great family, and everything falls into place. Well, when I started my family, that wasn't the case for me. I really struggled. I was missing the interaction from outside of the home. I was angry and jealous that my husband was able to go outside, and that made me cranky at him, and I started to get frustrated at being at home and started to take the frustration out on my child. It wasn't until I started to take the frustration out on my child that I realised, hang on a tick, I thought I got rid of all these before, and they're back again. So this time I thought, out of all the things that I studied over the last 10 years, of all the books and techniques that I've learned, and I did a lot, and haven't we all got the same story, what really stood out to me? The two things that really stood out to me were energy and the power of awareness. And as my journey goes on, I was to discover that I have a gift in understanding energy and how it works in our bodies and around our bodies. So I started to remind myself, out of all the books that I've read, that I'm the creator of my reality. If I'm the creator of my reality, how am I going to turn all this around? I believed deep inside that I could. Was I honest enough to say to my husband that I wasn't happy? No way. Was I honest enough to say to my friends and family that on the inside I was really struggling and that whole picture of family wasn't working for me? Not at all. Was I honest to open up to other people that I didn't really realise that the things I thought I cleared a long time ago were actually still in me? Not at all. Why didn't I do this? Because it didn't look good. And because I couldn't find a way to make things look good, I started to realise I needed to search deeper. So I started to, one of the favourite things I learned on my journey was a tool called muscle testing, and it's an ability to talk to your body. It deletes, it works in the body, from the body's point of view, taking out your stories and your patterns in a program. And it's as easy as, one of the ways that we teach it is you ask a question or you have a direction, and if the finger goes through, there's something for you to look at. If it doesn't go through, there's nothing. So with this technique that was a favourite tool of mine that I used and a system that I put together, I started to weed out the stresses in my day-to-day life. I started to look at what was behind the scenes of my first baby crying all the time, or why she wouldn't eat properly, or why she wouldn't sleep properly, or that rash that wouldn't go away, or when they got a runny nose, what was that really about? And what I discovered is that when I found the right awareness as to what the body was saying, things started to shift, like magic, like that. So I began to turn things around, and I found myself that I was happier at home. Because there was less stress and less drama, there was a lot more time for me to spend on myself, exercise again, and get myself back into a rhythm and a routine that I could sincerely start saying I was happy in. It wasn't until I went to Mother's Group, and we all go to Mother's Group with our first babies, that I discovered that everyone else at Mother's Group, rather than talking about how inspiring and wonderful this unit of family is, they were experiencing things that I experienced. They were struggling with sleepless nights, with lack of energy, with excess weight that wouldn't fall off their bodies. They were struggling with frustrations with their partners because their partner's life hasn't changed a lot, yet their life has. They couldn't work out how to clear illnesses from their baby, and sometimes rashes would stay longer, or breastfeeding was hard, or the mastitis would come back again. And as for libido, where did that go? So I started to share what I did, because I didn't have the same stories anymore. And I found that by muscle testing their bodies, or the bodies of their child, and creating the same awareness with the system that Women's Wisdom offers, I was able to create shifts in their lives. That was incredibly inspiring, especially when they came back week after week saying, the mastitis has cleared up, the rash on my baby has cleared up, the sleepless nights have become peaceful, breastfeeding's easy again, I haven't yelled at my husband all week, and I've actually found time to walk or exercise, or even the weight's just falling off and I'm doing nothing different except looking at what heavy contributions were giving their bodies. So I started, for the next 4 years, playing with this system with the other mothers and my friends and people that I knew. In that time, I also had 2 more babies. At the birth of my last baby, I realised that this information was too precious to keep to myself, and I kept seeing change after change after change, and I found that it was really easy to show women, hey, just do this, it starts to work itself out. And the women would go, yeah, great, what is it? And they were experiencing those shifts and changes as well. After that, Women's Wisdom was born. Women's Wisdom is a system of processes, of techniques, of concepts, of practical tools that actually give you the answers and the directions and the possibilities of your creations being your reality. Women's Wisdom system takes out the stresses and the negative stories and thought patterns and the patterns and programs in our bodies that continue to give us miserable and unhappy lives. Let me show you what I mean. If I draw a body here, with some legs and some arms, around our bodies, just similar to how our blood looks, there's lots and lots of energy balls. Infinite amounts, and each ball contains the possibility to any creation you choose, and I sincerely mean any creation you choose. As you get to know who you are, the idea is you keep focusing on you and what your heart truly desires, and then you demand or question, how do I create that? The ball automatically comes down to our bodies, comes out and creates our reality. It fuels our reality. It's no different to how the trees and the plants and the flowers are growing outside now. The sun, the water, everything works for them. They grow and expand and be true to who they are. We are the same. We're part of this amazing system. However, with us, over the years, we collect a lot of stories, negative ones. A lot of people have contributed to us believing, I can't, it's impossible, they'll never change, I can't possibly create a life like that, it just won't happen. These stories float around in our heads, plus we actually pick up the thoughts of other people's misery as well. In our bodies, we have patterns and programs that we've developed from childhood or in repetitive situations. Some of these patterns and programs work for us, like driving a car, brushing our teeth, we do it all automatically, but a lot of them don't work for us. When the stories become a lot and the patterns become and programs become a lot, it's really easy to tell if that's going on for you, because you'll be grumpy, you'll be frustrated, you'll be stressed, your body won't be in a space that you want it to be in. You'll have no libido and no wanting for a libido, and you'll start to realise that life is getting harder, you're aging and you're not happy. None of this has to exist. Women's Wisdom system identifies with muscle testing and awareness what these are and what these are, and then through conscious choice of who you truly are, we decide whether we want to keep them or not. And as the magic continues, when we decide we don't want to keep them, just like if we look outside, the old bits of the plants fall away, turn yellow and brown and fall off, so do any of these we don't consciously wish to keep. Therefore, we start to empty these out, be true to ourselves, honour who we truly are, who we authentically truly are, focus on what our heart desires, and this system, this natural system, like the sun and the water and the soil, come into our being and out and create our reality. And it truly is that easy. Women's Wisdom has been around for 12 years. It's been educating and inspiring and healing and teaching women all over the world how to do this for themselves. This year, we've decided to put together a study program, and we've called it the Women's Wisdom Study Program. It's an 8-month program, and in that program, the intent is to create a more conscious you. We will teach you concepts, we will teach you the tools, and we'll teach you how to use and function from the chart that we have for our system, and you too will be able to work out what's behind the stress or what's behind the block, that when you say, I truly want more happiness in my life, or I truly want more energy in my life, what's behind that? What's in the way? Women's Wisdom System shows you what's in the way. You make a conscious choice, you begin to change your reality. Imagine after 8 months, so by Christmas this year, to be a completely new you and transform everything around you. This year we're introducing a Women's Wisdom Study Program. The intent is to create a new you within 8 months. We'll look at 8 different topics that women of today face. Things like self-esteem, self-expression, career, money, parenting, especially relationships, friendships, things like that. We take an intense look at those and we teach you the concepts, tools and techniques to take into your day-to-day life to transform you. What does the program give you? 8 inspirational videos, 8 emails with energetic processes and inspirations and awarenesses on each email. 8 telecalls where we get together as a group and we talk about what we learnt and what happened, or also how things have changed to inspire the other women. And 8 energetic sessions where you see live how this energy works. That's very exciting. If you're sitting there now watching this and you truly do want to make a conscious change in your life, I invite you to have a look at our program. If you're there either pretending life is great but on the inside it's not, if you're there still struggling to lose weight, if you're there in an unhappy relationship and you don't know how to change it and you don't want to leave it, or you want to leave it gracefully, if you're there frustrated with your parenting, tidy up your room, pick up your towels, do this, do that, and you're not getting any changes. Or what about your partner? Is he still dropping things on the floor and frustrating you? And we all know it's not about him dropping things on the floor. If this is you, then take a choice now for yourself today and just ask us for more information. We've got loads we'd love to share, and we'd also like to invite you to be a participant in our Women's Wisdom Study Program. Email us, call us. We'd love to share some information with you. Everybody deserves an amazing life.